It's like signing autograph with your bank signature.
Ha,
If
exactly.
you win, there's nothing in it for you. You guys won again. And by chance, if it's a game of sport, so you may lose. And if you lose, like, what? You guys lost against them. Once I started playing and once I made my debut for India, your biggest motivation or my biggest motivation was representing the country.
He wants to ask the question.
Yeah, you can
He said,
ask.
go for it.
Do you remember what you have asked?
Yeah.
Don't change the question. Huh? What needs to be done by the time we enter the knockout stages so that we are able to win?
Welcome, sir. How are you? Looking very dapper, if I may say.
Well, I'm getting old. I'm still surviving.
Yeah,
lot
sure.
of-
That's the impression we all get.
With a lot of knee pain, stiff back, but life's good.
Life's good. I'm happy to hear that. Life's very good. Before we get started, please, I'd like to know a lot more about your involvement with PGI and your association with them. You could.
Well, it started a few years back, but there's a backstory to it. Growing up, cricketers are very superstitious. So it starts from my superstition. And whenever I used to wear some kind of a metal, whether it's gold or silver, somehow I felt after that, I was not scoring runs. And I'm talking about school cricket and all of that. So I got a bit superstitious because it's a control level. So like, okay, I won't wear anything. And it went on for a very long time. And after that, I got into watches. So that's the only gold or, other
Right.
metal that I wear. And then the opportunity came from platinum. I was like, that's interesting. The metal, if you particularly talk about platinum, it's like men. I'm not saying women can't wear it or shouldn't wear it, but they're like us, a bit stubborn, resilient, it feels when you're wearing something made out of platinum, you feel you're wearing something. So the first time I wore that watch, I was like, this is something that I should experiment with. And when PGI happened, it just opened the doors for me to say, no, I think I should be wearing this. And they've been really kind, to get me whatever I want in my own designs. And a lot of them are sitting over here. So a big thank you to all of them. But as I said, I've been wearing it for a couple of years now. And I quite like it. It is working in my favor.
All right, fantastic. That's good to hear. And thank you from all of us for actually making it more cool for men to wear jewelry also. Definitely made it easier. So, very quickly, since we are on the subject of platinum, I want to know 3 of your big platinum moments. I'm going to go format by format, okay? Format-wise, what is your T20 international platinum moment of your career, according to you?
Well, you have put the question in a different way, but I find it very difficult to pick instances, because what happens is whatever is fresh in your mind, usually 90% of the times you pick that up.
Right.
Or, if the moment has gone by, you try to pick what you think is the biggest moment. Like if you talk about T20, more often than you'll be like, maybe the T20 World Cup. Then you
Right.
go to the 50 over format, you'll be like, 2011 World Cup because it was happening over here. Now comes the test cricket, where you
Right.
have that options because it's not always about winning series or, something, that is very crucial. At times it can be that one test match, which you feel you contributed in a way, that you really liked it.
Right.
So, yes, T20 and one day I would pick the 2007 T20 World Cup and the 2011 50 over World Cup. When it comes to test cricket, there's quite a few ones, but I would say saving a test match at Lord's, because that in turn helped us win the series. So this was 2007.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the platinum moment in test cricket.
That's what that. Yeah, because there's so much. Yeah, I mean, we've won a lot with you, and you've saved us also so much. What for you was one of the most taking off of that? What was for you one of the most challenging games or moments on the field where you're like, this is a tough one, and we really have to dig our way out of this?
When the situation or the games are tough, really tough, actually those are the ones, that you feel you are really into the groove, what needs to be done. always felt, there was more pressure when you're playing a team where 90 or 99% of the people thought that, you'll easily win.
Right.
That puts pressure because if you win, there's nothing in it for you. You guys won again. And by chance, if it's a game of sport, so you may lose. And if you lose, like, what? You guys lost against them. So those to me were the pressure moments. And, I was always slightly more alert, when we were playing a team against whom we were just assumed that we would win.
Right. Like, don't let your guard down.
You have to respect the opposition. You have to prepare in the same way. You can't just take them lightly because at the end of the day, they are also playing for their country. So they've come over there to win. And sometimes, the tosses can be crucial or a few good deliveries can happen and can, put the team under pressure. So that was, for me, the toughest part.
Okay, fair enough. Now, everybody knows the Captain Cool story, etc. But I want to talk about one thing on a personal level. I understand you also love playing video games, and you're a PUBG player.
So if you see, I am more of a. I started quite early. I remember I used to play DOS game in computer.
Okay, yeah.
So quite early. And yes, I love first-person shooting games, or if it's a simulator game, plane simulator,
Right.
Something like that. So yes, I'm a big-time gamer. In between early 2000, I used to carry a Alienware laptop, and that
Yeah.
laptop, it's particularly made for gaming, but the thing was, it is so heavy to carry.
Yes.
And usually when we travel with the Indian cricket team, we reach early, but the luggage takes some time. And that's more often than not our free time. So I would carry that laptop in my handbag, and it used to be one of the heaviest handbags to carry. So it always felt as if you're carrying a load. You're gymming
Yeah.
when you are actually just walking around.
Yeah, that's true. But can you stay cool while playing PUBG also? Because I have friends who play first-person shooters, and they're not cool online at all.
No, so I play with my friends, and no, I'm not hype. I'm not the shouting types.
Okay.
A lot of people get excited. "Hey, idhar se aa raha, idhar se aa raha," udhar, udhar. And it's like, it gets very confusing.
Yeah.
Like, whenever we play, there's a friend of us, somehow I don't know how or what he does. So he will always shout. So if let the opposition have, somehow, gotten close to him, he's like, मेरे पास है, मेरे पास है, मेरे पास है, इधर आ जाओ, इधर आ जाओ, इधर. And he won't stop, and we are always like, boss, you tell us once, you are in trouble, we'll come to save you. But you can't just keep on singing, it just puts us off.
Like kabaddi, 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 kabaddi.
Something like that. So, and when you're playing a game, at times it becomes very difficult. I know my side of the story also, that usually when I would play a game, my answers will be yes or no. So you ask anything, I won't say anything more. So that's how I used to be.
Okay, fantastic. Round of applause. If you ever find yourself online playing against somebody who's answering only in yes and no and not getting annoyed, make sure you note the username.
Yes, I don't play with my own username.
Aha, exactly. Like, yeah.
It's like signing autograph with your bank signature.
Ha, exactly. Correct. So you mean your username is not Thala77, it's not, just checking. So, T20 World Cup coming up, we're gearing up for it. You have led the team in the event, I think 6 times now. What is the most important thing for this sort of young team now to sort of win the World Cup? What is the most crucial thing preparing for an event like this?
I think our team is very well prepared. It has the right mixture. And I don't want to jinx it by saying anything more or less. But, more often than not, they are the kind of side that they dominate. But you have to be at your best when the knockout stages kick in. Because in the shortest format, what happens is one person can take the game away from you.
Right.
So some opposition batsman or bowler, he can have a brilliant day, and he can take the game away from you. So what is important is, to be at your best when it matters the most. And it's not like we don't, like all of us who play for India, we want to be at our best throughout. But somebody will have to take that added responsibility if what we call shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
So other than that, we have the right resources. It's one of the most experienced team that knows the condition very well. So I don't see any good reason, so I'll be watching them, and it will be a lot of fun. It's just amazing to, see them bat the way they bat and the kind of depth they have in the bowling. So overall everything is covered.
And then you're going to go from watching direct to playing again because the IPL, and now what? 19 years of IPL, 19 years of MS Dhoni. That's just one, and you're, I think, one of the only people we can ask this. How has the tournament evolved as a player from season 1 to season now? And how have sort of you evolved with that tournament?
Well, if you see, initially when T20 started, it was more for the entertainment of the spectators. It was more for fun. So if you see the initial first couple of years till the 2007 T20 World Cup happened, it was more like just for fun. Cricketers used to play it. Yes, you're still representing your country, but the pressure was slightly less. You'll play one game in a series, stuff like that. But after 2007, there was a drastic change, and everybody started taking it very seriously. Then IPL happened, and we have seen the game evolve. It's played in a very different manner. A lot more different kind of approaches are acceptable, and it's actually filtering or going down to some of the other formats also. So I feel the game has evolved, and you have to be up to date with it. With the rule changes, with the auction happening every 3 years. So initially it was new for everyone. So franchisee will formulate their way of retaining players, who to look for, and over the years what has happened is everybody has become a pro. When it comes to who we want to retain, how we want to use the resources and all of that. So cricket has evolved. It's very different to the first edition of IPL that we guys play. Every year you see there's a bit of change. The approach is different. The amount of runs that are getting scored is very different. The quality of the wicket has changed a lot. So it has become much more interesting, and it has become much more intense, over the years. So I feel that's one tournament that everyone waits for, because the timings, it's there for almost 60 days. So it becomes part of the routine. You come back 7 o'clock, 7:15, you are there, watching the game, and there's a period after the tournament where you are like, what do we need to do now? Yeah. So cricket has evolved. That's what I would say.
I think everybody in this room is going to be waiting and watching, right? We wait to see you. Yeah, there we go. We wait to watch 100%. And now I'd like to turn this over to the audience. We've had some questions from the audience. I believe we have a bunch of names that you get to pick out yourself, if I'm not mistaken. May I have... There's a magic fishbowl from which you get to pick out names, and then those people will get to ask you a question.
So I'll keep it here.
Yeah, all yours.
So I'll just
there
pick
we go.
from
Yeah.
the middle.
There we go.
Oh, the question is at the back. Vittal Nayak Kumble, Bangalore. Okay, so the question is, what keeps you calm when everything is on the line? Well, not thinking about the result. I've said this so many times, but being in the moment really helps. What needs to be done? We all know under stressful situation, we tend to forget that being in the present where you're taking a decision, that's what will impact the result. But all of us, at some point of time, we get carried away. We start thinking, what if we don't win this game? What if this batsman is not able to hit? Or what if this bowler is not able to defend? But the most important thing is, what can I do to contribute at that point of time? Because the captain may be thinking which bowler to use or which batsman to send into bat. But now, if we are fielding, we have 11 people on the ground. Everybody needs to contribute, thinking as to, if the ball comes to me, how will I take a start? Where do I need to throw the ball? Which is the batsman who is slightly slower? So in that way, you are more into the moment. You're not thinking too much ahead. And when you're doing all these things, it becomes slightly easy to control your heartbeat, with your breathing technique and all of that. So I like to stay in the moment and not think about the result.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Steak. Yes, another one.
Jagadish Vardhan.
Where?
So
Oh, there we go.
Jagdish
Yes, go ahead.
Vardhan.
Ask. He can ask. He wants to ask the question.
Yeah, you can
Himself.
ask.
Go for it.
Do you remember what you have asked?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sir.
don't change the question, huh?
Ah.
Sir, Mahi bhai, you always keeps curious even you achieved everything. So what things you are used to do?
What keeps you curious even after achieving everything?
Yes.
Okay. So, so if you see, I am not someone who looks into the stats too much. I had a very good career, international career. God has been kind to me, but I always try not to think too much about it. Because the chances of you flying around with that is quite high. And I love to be in the moment. That's one thing. And we play a team sport, so it's not like I have done. It's our team. Everybody has contributed. There have been situations in tournaments where if that individual won't have performed or that bowler won't have taken that crucial wicket or a great run out, we could have lost that tournament. So I appreciate everyone, whoever has contributed, and I don't think too much about what has happened. I like to be in the present and look ahead as to what needs to be done. One of my favorite saying is, in my career, nobody can add even one run from what I have scored or deduct even one run from what I have scored. So whatever it is, people may like it, may not like it, but the fact is that is something that happened, and I'm very thankful, for all the teammates that I have played with and all the people who guided me throughout.
Thank you, Mahi.
But should we do one more? One more. Yes.
Akshay from Chhattisgarh, Raipur.
Akshay from Raipur. Oh, there we go. Yes, sir. Your question, please. Oh, wait. There's someone coming to you with a mic right there. Yes.
The question
Yes,
I
sir.
have
Yes.
written on the
Yeah, so your question is, which single moment in your career taught you the most about leadership and how it changed the way you led the team thereafter? So I feel I can't really recall that one particular moment because leadership, you keep evolving throughout because you are leading a team. You have different individuals who are part of the side, and the rules in cricket keep on changing. The way people play cricket keeps on changing. So constantly you are adapting yourself. What I may say today, tomorrow, or in 3 months' time, I may say something that is slightly different. It's not like my views have changed, but the demands of the games have changed. And same thing applies to leadership. Depending on the people you are leading, at times you have to maneuver around it. But it's a constant learning process. It's not only about me learning, but I also watch others. There are other captains who are floating around, other coaches who are there. So you try and learn from whoever is around you. It makes life a lot easy. I know a lot of people say you learn from your mistakes, but I'm the one who says, if somebody close to me or my opposition is committing a mistake, I can learn from that. It's not like I have to repeat it and then say, okay, this is what I learned out of it. So leadership or being the captain, it's a constant process, and throughout you keep on evolving. You keep on getting better with time.
thank you. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Before we move on, I believe we have one wildcard question from the PGI team, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And there we go. It's Vaishali.
From
Yes.
Team Platinum to the Man of Platinum.
Yes.
Hello again. Look, we all know that you inspire millions. But who inspires you? And what inspires you to continue on your journey?
Well, I'll pick a few names because it keeps on changing a bit. Growing up, it was Sachin Tendulkar. We all looked up to him, and after that, once I started playing and once I made my debut for India, your biggest motivation or my biggest motivation was representing the country, and I wanted to contribute in each and every game. It was never as if it's a 50 or 100. Depending on the situation, whatever was needed of me, for the team, I would like to do that. So it was never about quantity because I was batting down the order. So I feel that was the part. And then once I left international cricket, whatever I've been playing now, that motivation is for cricket. In the sense, whatever I have got in life or where I am today, it's because of cricket. And whatever said and done, this is the last few years where I'll be playing competitive cricket. After that, I'll be playing cricket in gullies with my friends and all of that. But when you're playing topmost competitive cricket, that's where you want to be. So I feel right now the motivation is cricket. After that, once I completely quit cricket, I don't know what the motivation will be, but that's how it has been. So I've taken 3 different scenarios and picked 3 different options.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that so thoughtfully, MS. And before I let go of the mic, on behalf of Platinum Guild and all of us here in this room, I really want to thank you. Sincere thanks for your partnership, for your time, and for being with us here this evening. It really means a lot to us. Thank you.
One more?
Thank you. Huh?
One more?
Sure, go for it. Why not?
So one more for the lucky one.
One more for the lucky. There we go. Why not? Who do we have?
Arvind Kumar Singh from Dubai. We have gone out of India. Oh, he's
all
right there.
All the way, right here, front row.
So you would like to ask yourself or you want me to? Should I? Okay.
There's a mic right there. If you want to, go for it.
Actually, I've already answered this, but I will give you the question. What is the mantra you use to stay calm and cool under pressure, and how we can apply it to our daily lives? So actually, I've already answered it. Be in the moment, that really helps. Don't think
Thank
about
you,
the result. The result is a byproduct. Since it was half answer,
Yes.
maybe.
Okay. There we go. Our lucky day. Our lucky day. All right.
Ravi Agarwal,
Oh, wow. It's a good day to be in the front row.
Malda.
Clearly.
Acha, so this summer will I get Malda ke aam?
Why not? Definitely. Langada Aam, yeah.
Yeah. It comes at the end of the season, but yeah.
Yeah. I came in from Muscat because I live there, but born and brought up in Malda, like I mentioned. So what I was asking, or what I wanted to ask was, I know you have expectations from around the world, but you have internal expectations as well, right? Like how you judge yourself. So how do you balance that out, especially when you're close to the finishing lines, in general in life and cricket? Yeah.
Well, I always believe, first of all, you have to be honest to yourself. And according to that, you should have your own expectation level. Because when others are setting the expectation level for you, it can be on the lower side or on the higher side, either ways, So that's why I said honesty is the key aspect. Like when we go and play, we are expected to win each and every game that we play. We also want to do that, but the fact is we don't win each and every game. So you need to have your own expectation as to if you're playing a tournament, how to qualify to the knockout stages, what needs to be done by the time we enter the knockout stages so that we are able to win. So again, you'll fall back to, what was the planning, how well we executed, if the planning needs to change or not, what kind of hard work and effort we have put in while we were practicing. So all those things, really matter. And that's how under tense scenario, if I have practiced very well and if I've been in that situation on various occasions, it gives me that confidence that I'm equipped with the kind of talent and resources that are needed to get out of this situation. So I'm well aware of what needs to be done and I'm prepared to do it. So I feel having that confidence and self-belief is very important. But how do you get that self-belief is again, it's a whole process. So, when your practice, the quality of practice that you're doing is very high, when you have already been in that situation, you have accepted that, it's tough, but I want to, every tense situation is actually an opportunity to prove that you belong over here and you are the one, who can take the team on the winning note. So I feel this is what I used to practice and it has worked wonders for me. So I feel everybody, every individual needs to do the same thing.
Fantastic. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this rare, beautiful, and very memorable event. Can we have another massive round of applause for the one and only Mr. Mahendra Singh Dhoni,